We would now like to request Dr. Singh, IFS Director, FRI, to kindly felicitate Dr. Mrs. Dhankhar. We would like to request the DG Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Mr. Jagdeep, to kindly felicitate Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh. We are all gathered now for the closing session, and to begin, for the welcome address, I would like to invite Mr. VP of Forests, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Mr. Devash Ranjan.
Thank you. Namaskar, Suprabhat, good afternoon. Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankhar ji, respected Dr. Dhankhar ji, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh ji, Director United Nations Forum on Forest, Mrs. Village, Director General of Forest, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Shri C.T. Goyal ji, the Director General of ICFI, Shri Jagdeep, esteemed dignitaries on dais, distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I express my gratitude to each one of you for actively and enthusiastically participating in the discussions yesterday and today. It is encouraging to witness the spirit of all the countries and the international organizations to contribute to the discussions at New York for the 19th session of the United Nations Forum on Forest. I express appreciation for all countries who shared their thoughts and perspectives during the panel discussions. The richness of experiences reflected during the conversation yesterday and today and highlighted the workable advancement in the area of forest fire prevention and restorations and forest certifications. One of the important points that were discussed during the discussions on forest fires is using the fire as a natural rejuvenation mechanism, keeping central focus on utilizing experiences and knowledge from the local communities, indigenous people, and women for forest fire management. The plenary also discussed about the livelihood improvement program and incorporating incentivization schemes while formulating policies related to forest fire management and need to effectively manage and mobilize resource based on severity and the landmass of the fire areas. The delegates were aligned on the core landscapes fire governance framework, which aims at balancing environmental, social, and economical aspects as well, and brings out the importance of interconnected natures of combating forest fire. The effectiveness of the framework depends on the collaborations and the coordinations, risk assessment, preventions and mitigations, constant right to adopt and learn the community engagement. The implementation of integrated fire management requires an integrated approach to the preventions, management and restoration of forest fires and policy interventions, whether globally or regionally, that must support this ideology. The delegates highlighted the importance of international cooperation to address cross-border fire issues, as well as the integration of fire management into larger strategies for forest management, including approaches such as integrated fire management strategy in order to implement integrated policies for prevention and management of fires and fire-sensitive forests at a global level. The plenary discussed at length on the Global Fire Management Hub, which which was created with the aim of driving global dialogue and sharing best practices to facilitate integrated forest fire management. The second thematic area focused on the forest certifications and that it would be a resourceful tool to contribute to sustainable forest management, provided we solve the critical issues and problems that currently persist. Some essential prerequisites to ensure success of forest certifications are capacity building, easing the accessibility to all landowners, ensuring transparency in the processes, and removing cost barriers that currently exist. Few pivotal requirements to make forest certifications a success involving setting benchmark standards that are accepted globally for all countries to adopt unanimously, ensuring proper capacity building, sharing information from national certification programs across producing and the importing countries, assisting producing and importing nations to implement more economical forest certification procedures and facilitate smoother communications of certification standards. I sincerely hope that the discussions we have witnessed over 2 days have been an interesting learning experiences. So thank you once again for your participations, and we eagerly look forward to taking the proceedings from this discussions forward during UNEP 19 in May 2024 at New York. Thank you. Once again for your participations, and we eagerly look forward to taking the proceedings from this discussions forward during UNEP 19 in May 2024 at New York. Thank you.
I would like to invite her for her address. Please welcome Ms. Juliet Diao.
Thank you very much, MC. Honorable Vice President of India, His Excellency Mr. Jagdeep Dhankhar, respected Dr. Ms. Sudesh Dhankhar, Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, Director General of Forest, Mr. C.P. Goyal, esteemed dignitaries of Excellencies, ladies and distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by extending my appreciation and gratitude to all of you for your valuable contribution to the discussion on very critical issues pertaining to the human health and that of the planet. Some of you traveled very far away to attend this CLI in person. Others attending online, some at very early or very late hours of the day. And the distinguished UN Focal Point and esteemed colleagues from the Collaborative Partnership for Forests, who are members of the steering committee, have worked with dedication to help prepare for this CLI. To all of you, I am grateful. The discussions on wildfires and forest certification is timely, as we are gearing toward the 19th session of the United Nations Forum on Forests to be held next year from the 6th to the 10th of May at the UN headquarters in New York. The UNFF 19 is a policy session which will discuss the midterm review of the International Arrangement of Forests, IAF. As you know, in its resolution 2015-30, the United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, strengthened and extended the International Arrangement on Forests to 2030. The Council further requested the Forum to undertake a detailed review and final review of the effectiveness of the IAAF in achieving its objective in 2024 and 2030, respectively. Bringing the outcome of discussion on critical issues such as wildfires and forest certification is of great importance. In the current context of rising global temperatures and increased frequency of extreme weather events that have led to a surge in the number of wildfires, rapidly consuming extensive areas of vegetation and forested land. This CLI provided a good opportunity for sharing experience and best practices on both implementation of national wildfire management strategies and plans. Most countries are adapting, adjusting, and learning how to live with wildfires in a warming world. The critical issues of gender perspective in wildfire management, as well as the involvement of the youth, came out strongly. In terms of policies that are needed to implement integrated fire management and for managing the transition towards the new paradigm of fire prevention, it is now worth noting that many countries have policies in place. Some are still facing challenges with the enforcement and the cross-sectoral coordination, which is critical for the effective management of wildfires. The international cooperation is also critical to address wildfire issues in a more coordinated and a sustainable manner. In this regard, the Global Fire Management Hub was found very relevant. The UN Secretariat stand ready to work with FAO and UNEP in support of countries to make best use of the newly developed Global Fire Management Hub. With regard to certification, the various presentations show clearly the great interest of countries to enhance responsive forest management. However, there are many challenges that need to be addressed, including transaction costs and the complexity of consultations, as well as the involvement of smallholder producers. The UNFF Secretariat, in collaboration with policy members, stand ready to work on advancement of certification programs and legal issues, and legal compliance. We look forward to the formulation of key policy messages that will derive from the outcomes of this CLI to be considered at the UNFF 19. The success of this CLI will not have been possible without the excellent work of the CLI Steering Committee, and I would like to sincerely thank Australia, Brazil, Morocco, EU, US, FAO, ITTO, IUFO, and IUC. Lastly, I would like to extend our appreciation and gratitude to the government of India for their generosity, warm welcome to Delhi. We look forward to continuing to advance together these two topical issues of this year. I sincerely thank all distinguished online participants. To all those who participated in person, I wish you safely back home. To our excellency, I say, Dhankhar. I thank you for your attention.
And now for the next address, we would like to invite Director General of Forest Ministry
ancient tradition of welcoming. In a literal translation, it means the divine within me goes to the divine within you. We are so happy that this country-led initiative meeting is being held in Dehradun in FRI. And I'm also very happy that this is an initiative of United Nations Forum on Forest. I've also been in the United Nations, and probably there's a reason that I'm doing a UN Sabha today. So it gives me thrilled to associate with each one of you. A very warm welcome to Honorable Vice President Shri Jagdeep, Dhankhar. Your personal and professional grasp has been and continues to be inspiring and motivating to all of us in the nation. You are truly the epitome of hard work, determination, and grit, and we are proud of you. A very warm welcome to each one of you to Dehradun. In fact, these moments that are going on are very auspicious and celebrated. We just finished 9 days of worshiping the goddesses, the Devis. We also celebrated Dhankhar, a celebration of victory of good over, and we are just walking towards the celebrations of Diwali, that is to celebrate the success of Lord Rama. So you are here with us in this auspicious moment, and I will discuss on the initiatives related to forest. At times one wonders that the mankind decided to name Almighty as God, and God in return said that any word which will have over its the blessing of Almighty God. That's why He gave it to the woman, He didn't give it to the men. But categorically, He gave this word to forest with O as second letter, and to mountains with O as second letter, which are all divine. So I perceive forest is the divine blessing of the Lord, and you are getting such an important issue for each one of us. It's interesting to observe the member countries foster collaboration with each other, international organizations, civil society, and other stakeholders to discuss and advance forest-related initiatives led by countries themselves. At this point, I have a special mention for India as an ancient practice of conservation of trees and forests. The famous Chipko movement from Uttarakhand, the place where you are today, and the Vishwari movement from Rajasthan, the place where Honorable Vice President belongs to, are among the first organized proponents of eco-conservation, wildlife protection, and green living. Both involved local communities, mainly women. You know, this Chipko movement actually means hugging or embracing trees to prevent them from being cut by the robbers. So they could take on this challenge in such a respectful manner. These movements aim to protect the environment, preserve forests, and secure the livelihood of local population. And I proudly state that these movements have been led by the women of India. When we talk of a self-reliant country and Atmanirbhar Bharat, we talk of empowering our women and bringing about equitable and just economy. Economy, environment, and equality are the three pillars or prongs of our divine state. The God that we worship here, Lord Shiva, we usually represent him by the shoe, the three prongs. Also the abode of Lord Shiva, the place that you are in. And I have the belief that all three need to work, that is the economy, environment, and ecology, in tandem to tackle the crisis, the global warming, alertness and timeliness, especially considering the current climate and environment crisis we are confronting collectively. These specific challenges are of paramount importance to all of us. I am also definite that one of the central issues to address in the CLI must have been the escalating threat of large-scale forest fire, exacerbated by the ongoing climate change crisis. In fact, I was very impressed. One of the young PFO of our state, he was evolving a process, the transformation, where he could integrate the challenge of the fire and the social integration impact. In fact, when I was discussing this aspect of the challenge of the forest fire, he even went to the extent of saying that there is need to integrate our religious perspective, our spiritual perspective, and social perspective to take on this challenge of the forest. Because forest and trees, we treat like the biggest blessing of the Lord. With regard to the sustainable forest management and the forest certification, Uttarakhand has established one panchayat, the form of a democratic perspective as we relate to the society who live in the forest area. And these are dedicated to the forest conservation, sustainable utilization. A significant share of the state forest is managed through the one panchayat system. These communities manage forest blend state ownership with a community responsibility with assess and use regulated by the detailed community design rules. I have a very special connect with the forestry personnel. As a soldier, I consider all those who work for preserving our natural resources as my fellow soldiers. You work in tough areas, you face challenges, and you work in isolation like in border areas. No one would be seeing you, but you put in your most divine, spiritual, and passion of professionalism into it. I'm different about it that this CLI would have brought out the aspect of technology, the options which are coming out for us, how to use technology for the forest challenges that we have in front of us. It was very proudly, I, as a governor, would also like to represent a very high number of tigers and elephants that we have got in Uttarakhand. We have the highest density of the tigers if you relate it to the objective perspective on the tiger population. I am also very enthused about the aspect of green economy. I personally feel as India has walked from 10th to the 5th status of economy, and we are moving towards the 3rd level of economy in the world. I think green economy, our forest strength, our forest self-worth has got to add into it. I personally feel, as I related to Lord Shiva, there are 3 blessings in Uttarakhand. One is spiritual tourism, second is horticulture, and third is wellness. In fact, when you go deeply into these 3 things, I find that forest areas are the ones which can contribute in a very big by, I would say, by the forest tourism, horticulture, Ayurvedic, and what is produced in the jungle, and thirdly, the contribution of the forest wealth into the wellness of the mankind. I am different about it that so beautifully in the spectrum of initiatives that you would have chosen for yourself to discuss. अगर मैं हिंदी में कहूँ तो जो आपने चिंतन और मंथन किया होगा इन 2 दिनों में, उसमें जो अमृत निकला होगा, the deliberation and discussion that you would have done, and the recommendations and suggestions which would have come out of that, I'm definite about it that this is going to take us much ahead as far as the forest utilization, preservation, and how to connect farming to the forest is concerned. Forests in Uttarakhand have tremendous economic significance, as I was mentioned. harvesting. These resources contribute to the livelihood of many local communities. I would say our strength in Uttarakhand, Ayurveda, and what assists in the Dharma Vidya for the medicinal values comes from the medicinal herbs from our forest. The forests here, they play a critical role in maintaining the ecological balance in the region. They help regulate climate, prevent soil erosion, supply fresh water to rivers and streams, which are essential for both local population and states of India downstream. Country-led initiative meeting at the United Nations Forum on Forest actually showcases the commitment of our member states and international organizations to sustainable management and conservation of forests. The exchange of ideas and support for the CLIs underscore the importance of a collaborative, country-led approach in achieving global forest-related goals. Uttarakhand was also host to the G20 meeting, and the theme was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that means one family, one earth, and one future. Indeed, what you have done is also contributing to the great concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Uttarakhand government and various organizations are actively engaged in the forest conservation and afforestation efforts. They work to protect endangered species and promote sustainable forestry practices to preserve the state's natural habitat. Uttarakhand forests are not only a source of natural beauty and biodiversity, but also a critical component of the region's environmental health and cultural heritage. Conservation and sustainable management are the key priority to ensure the long-term well-being of these forests and communities that they rely on them. I reiterate with great pride that Uttarakhand's Chipko movement is often seen as a precursor to the global environmental movement and has a significant impact on forest conservation policies in India. I once again welcome each one of you to the third Bhumi, the third Bhumi. Uttarakhand has got more than 70% of forest. I think that's a great wealth and pride for each one of us. And I'd like to thank each one of you for a dedication which you have done, which will contribute to the entire challenge of each one of us on the forest resources of the world. Jagdeep and Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. We got to know so much about the wildlife heritage of Uttarakhand, and you'll be seeing it firsthand tomorrow during your national park visit as well. And now, I would guess we should all have the privilege of hearing our Honorable Vice President of India, His Excellency Mr. Jagdeep Dhankhar.
Very good afternoon to all of you. There seems to be some problem with my throat. I'll try to do justice as much as I can. Honorable Governor Uttarakhand, Lieutenant General Gurmeet Singh, you heard him, his passion, his commitment, his emotive involvement, very impressive. The General has sagacity of a journal, but works with the spirit of a soldier. He is a man who catalyzes positive change, and forest is one passion which I show in last 2 days. We had a very in-depth analysis of what had happened during last 2 days in your deliberations from Madam Juliet Bio, Kaunyeok Po, United Nations Forum on Forests. She spelled out in great detail what had traversed, the challenges which we are facing, and what could be the way out. We had Mr. Goel from the Union government, who spelled out with clarity, sound commitment, track record, and achievements, and the role which we all are destined to play. Dignitaries on the dais, representatives, our friends from foreign countries, everyone present in the audience. That includes my wife. Namaskar. On this, the journal has already reflected. It conveys our sublime respect to those whom we address. Experienced divinity, sublimity, serenity, and pristine environment ever since my wife and myself landed in Devbhoomi yesterday. And I'm sure delegates from abroad would have similarly experienced this is a very different land on the planet. And from perspective of the issues which you deliberated, this has real relevance. My visits to Gangotri, Kedarnath, and Badrinath are ever etched in our memory. I am sure if you have not been there, you will spare time to be there, and you will get enlightened in a very different sense. Many in the world who are heading great organizations have been very creative in their vocation, had the occasion to get inspiration, motivation from this land. Friends, the issue that you addressed in last 2 days has a global ramifications. I, along with my wife, availed the divine opportunity at these holy places. They mark our civilizational ethos and essence to seek peace and happiness for all living beings on the planet. I am not limiting to humanity. This planet is not exclusive to humanity. This planet is home to large number of living beings. They are precious. We cannot permit them to go in extinction. Friends, it is absolute delight to be here at the illustrious Forest Research Institute for this valedictory session. The contributions of FRI in India and abroad have been immeasurable. It's a nerve center, epicenter of affirmative changes when it comes to environment and forest. FRI has long been a sanctuary of knowledge and innovation in the realm of forestry. And I'm sure the challenge which the world is facing at the moment, this is the right place that can engage in innovation, research, directional approach, and focused areas. FRI has not only been institutional in advancing scientific research and technological applications in forestry, but it stands as a premier training academy for the officers of Indian Forest Service. And they are the ones who will catalyze positive situation in Bharat. And my foreign friends would be happy to know we are 1/6 of humanity. Congratulations to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for facilitating this crucial and impactful event. You heard the Director General, and the Honorable Minister is also very passionate about it. He is in a missionary zeal. He is working in overdrive to accomplish what, according to me today, is critical need of the planet. In this country, which is home to 1/6 of humanity, we are lucky to be living in times which is Amrit Kal. That is, my friends from abroad can note, 75 years of our independence. And this Amrit Kal for us is a Gaurav Kal. There are many aspects where we can take pride in our epochal achievements that are bearing also on the issue which you addressed during last 2 days. Honorable Governor indicated about rise of Bharat, India. You would recollect, just about a decade ago, India was counted as fragile 5 economies. Those economies that were in some sense burden on the globe. Where have we come now? In 2022, as the Honorable Governor stressed, we became the world's 5th largest global economy. In the process, we overtook UK and France. There are all indications that by turn of this decade, by 2030, we would have overtaken the economies of Japan and Germany to be the 3rd largest global economy on the planet. This accomplishment by Bharat, India, in turn casts on the nation a great obligation to secure synergetic response for tackling issues that are being faced by the planet. We have been acknowledged by global outfits, including IMF, to be the brightest destination of investment and opportunity. Our digital penetration, and I'm making reference to this because this has great impact on the existential issues which the planet is facing, and we have to find resolution thereon. Our digital penetration and spread has stunned the world. Our digital transactions, my dear friends, in 2022, being 4 times of the transactions in US, UK, France, and Germany, all taken together. Not a small achievement. Our per capita internet data utilization during this year, 2022, was more than the combined data consumption of US and China. Growth trajectory of Bharat and other nations, I have no doubt, can be secured when all on the planet are aware of existential critical challenges. And that is the writing on the wall. Maybe a few decades ago, the issue was not taken that seriously. But now, everyone has come to know about the challenges the planet is facing and the draconian consequences it can have. It is heartening, a positive development. The nations of the world are converging with positive mindset to find a solution to these problems. And the deliberations you had are part of that. But friends, a brief reference was made by the Honorable Governor. For thousands of years, our history, our civilization ethos, they converge on one aspect, which in Sanskrit is known as Vasudev Kutumbakam, when India got the presidency of G20, a remarkable event at a critical time in the history of the planet, we had a motto for that. And that motto was, we take the world as one earth, one family, one future. Friends, what you addressed, what you deliberated, what you worked to find resolutions is to secure this. If nations of the world can believe that this is one earth, one family, one future, the challenges that are staring us in the face will not affect an individual nation. They will affect the planet as such. Like COVID, which was a non-discriminatory challenge to every part of the globe, every part of society, this challenge is far more severe, critical than COVID challenge. The apt theme for G20 went a long way. I was associated as Vice President, interacted with global leaders. They came out with daily declaration. I would be making reflection only to the extent it is required for your deliberations. Great accomplishment. The declaration recognized the importance of collective action in tackling environmental challenges and climate change. Our forests are not merely a resource. Some take forest as a resource. That is not so. That is taking a view which is very narrow, unjustifiable. They encompass cultural, spiritual, and intellectual heritage of the country. No place is more befitting for this than Uttarakhand, as indicated by the Honorable Governor. If you look at all over the world, you will find more than 1 billion people are dependent on forests, and such kind of human resource has to be nurtured by maintaining balance. Forests, besides providing habitats for animals and livelihoods for humans, forests also offer watershed protection, prevent soil erosion, and mitigate climate change. We need to make people more aware and enlightened about such a positive impact which forests have in our lives. These are much more than reservoirs of biodiversity. They are also the lifeline of millions of our citizens on the planet, especially in our country, the tribal and forest-dependent communities. Friends, it is imperative that we strike a delicate balance between development and conservation, ensuring that our forests continue to thrive while meeting the development requirements of our citizens. India, I can assure my foreign friends, has a very robust mechanism. A mechanism on the legal side, on the judicial side, on the executive side, that tries to create balance without sacrificing the essence of forestry. Conservation, and it is essential, critical and crucial, but this conservation cannot be isolated from the well-being of communities that rely on forest resources. I am sure deliberations would need to focus in that area. You must have already focused to find a safe passage. Sustainable development and containing climate change are quite essential to a secure future. We can have no future if we don't contain climate change. It will be difficult to survive on the planet if the development is not sustainable. These challenges, I'm sure you all will agree, being experts in the area, feeling the heat of it, they are not ordinary challenges. They are existential challenges. We will have to marshal all energy, all thought process to find a resolution. Forest covers 1/3 of the global land. But what it does more than that, breathe life into our world, providing us with oxygen, shelter, jobs, water, nourishment, and fuel. India is one of the world's most biodiverse countries and among the few countries that have managed to increase its forest and tree cover, and that too in harmony with rapid growth in the economy. We need to do more. While the world statistics, Mr. Goel would note, and he knows it, it's 1/3. But our coverage is 1/4. But gradually, imperceptibly, without being invasive, additions are taking place every decade. And that's a good, soothing sign. Friends, people at large, sometimes knowledge is the greatest game changer. Sometimes being aware about a problem, diagnosing it appropriately, can lead to a better solution. And the people, therefore, must be enlightened that forests, apart from all that they know out of common sense, are the largest storehouses of carbon after the oceans, absorbing greenhouse gas from the air and lock it away above and below the ground. It is no surprise in a scenario like this, if we damage forests, if we cut forests, we release huge amounts of carbon emissions that contribute to climate crisis. Friends, we all need to realize that forests are a climate solution. One of the impactful, resolute, acceptable solution to climate change. Forests provide a carbon sink. All of us, you know the importance of sink. Carbon sink that absorbs up to 2.4 billion metric tons of carbon each year. Can we afford, while being at the crossroads of this great problem, to ignore such a vital impact the forests have in our lives? There is urgent need, and this is specific to the world and more specific to my country. We must rejuvenate and nurture our ponds and our forest land that is not a large area. In every village or a small community in India, in Africa, in South America, you will find there will be forest land which will be home to cattle, which will take care of several issues. In this country, this is a campaign. We have decided, and there is significant accomplishment, to have 75,000 Amrit Sarovars, more than 50,000 are already in existence. The United Nations Forum on Forests, if the world has to achieve something great, you need a global body. United Nations is unique in performing this task. And this particular forum on forests exemplifies the synergy resulting from focused collective action, serving as a beacon of hope and a platform for nations to come together, share knowledge, and forge partnerships towards a more sustainable future. I am sure the delegates would take home several of the solutions by way of affirmative policies which we are providing in Bharat to solve the problem. The two-day deliberations and the themes very thoughtfully selected. It's a challenge. We are stunned. We are flabbergasted that in spite of the technological advancement we have made, how we are suffering forest fires. Even the most developed nations are unable to find quick solution. This theme, forest fires, wildfires, this issue is very technical. It has to be addressed and resolution found in a multi-layered approach. Technology being one of them, making people aware is another, sustaining forests in the right manner. And you would know more about it. I'm not an expert. You all here are. And the second theme, forest certification and sustainable forest management. Nothing can be more critical. I said more than 1 billion people. I can say more than the population of India, 1/6 of humanity. All over the world, we have this population. Life, livelihood, existence of these people is dependent on forests. And therefore, I congratulate the United Nations Forum on Forests, the officials of Government of India, for having very imaginatively thought of these two themes that are of great contemporaneous relevance, not to a country, but to the world at large. All over the world will find one thing. The underprivileged and financially weaker sections of our community, they often bear, and they bear most, they bear it severely, brunt of nature's fury. In our country, fortunately, we have developed an ecosystem because of our scientific growth, technological application, that if we are visited with natural calamities, we warn the people well in advance. Our shores are sanitized of the vulnerable presence of fishermen and otherwise. It being limited. But then that is one way. How to ensure that the problem does not arise is a critical issue. Can there be predictability of that? Can we use science to a level where we can find resolution of this serious issue? Another aspect, the world over, and our Constitution in particular provides for it, equitable distribution of resources and social justice, which means the governance must be of a kind that impacts the last man in the line. It changes the life for the better of that category of people who have lost hope. By series of steps in last decade, India's performance has been phenomenal. It has been of a level which could not be imagined or dreamt of. I say so because it was in 1989 I came to be associated with governance after being elected to Parliament, to the House of the People, and was part of the government also. Big change has taken place, but more is required to be done. Friends, distributive social justice is not only for governance, it is for every person on the planet to ensure it. He or she has to perform his or her duty, and that is giving back to the society something which is vital. Deforestation, habitat fragmentation, encroachment of human activities pose significant, critical, dangerous threat to our rich biodiversity. We have made a serious effort in our country that we need to nurture biodiversity, preserve it, and recreate if we can. We owe it to the future generations that we are merely trustees at the moment. We cannot afford to compromise our future generations by our reckless approach, exploitation of natural resources. We all are bound to engage in optimal utilization of natural resources. The world over there has to be a thought process that your fiscal power cannot be correlated to consumption or utilization of natural resources. Fortunately, we are finding other ways also, so that our dependence on economic front on natural resources is declined. Take the energy sector. Renewable energy sources, alternative sources of energy, they are coming. And my foreign friends would appreciate. This also takes a serious geopolitical aspect on occasions. Energy has become the other method of weaponization. Everyone has to work together to find a solution so that what the Almighty has given us, we channelize that, exploit that, and fructify that. On top of it, these are the challenges. But climate change exacerbates these challenges, and this is what you had addressed. Frequent forest fires, altered rainfall patterns, all over the world you see. Desert areas are being flooded. The pattern is being changed. These are issues that change the ecosystem in a manner which the humanity will take time to adjust. So rather than adjust, fall prey, become a victim of this big change, let us find a solution. I can assure you, the world has enough intellect. The nations have enough worth. If they converge, they'll find a solution. What is more important, they need to realize there is a problem facing us. Implementation of innovative technologies is required to be there. Satellite monitoring is one such way. I can tell you, we take great pride that India became the first country on the planet to land on the South Pole of Moon. But what is more important is our ISRO, a great scientific outfit, has contributed massively by putting satellites of other countries in the space who are engaged into resolution of issues which you discussed. And including of those countries that are very developed, because ISRO is good value for money and has scientific, sharper, cutting edge. Sustainable development, few years ago, was just a word, a slogan. In last 10 years, in India, we have realized it on the ground. The ambitious National Clean Air Program, Swachh Bharat Mission, and in the Green India Mission, they are testament to the far-sightedness, visionary approach of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has a passion to work for humanity. He has a vision that is in consonance with Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that one earth, one family, one future. And then is quick at execution. This has happened. India's focus on climate and environmental action is highlighted by the launch of ambitious green credits program to incentivize environmental friendly activities and focus upon. This is turning out to be a game changer. Initially, it started at a slow pace. Now, when you get credit, your economy is enhanced. In the process, there is gain for the larger humanity. Lifestyle for environment, and Prime Minister has been very passionate about it. He has focused on this in his monthly Mann Ki Baat. He has focused on this in the Parliament. He has focused on this on global fora, and that is a flagship initiative globally launched by Prime Minister 2 years ago. It is fructifying into geometric results. Our mitigation strategies have emphasized on clean and efficient energy systems, safe and smart and sustainable green mass urban transportation network. Friends, if you spare a few days here, you will find our mass transportation system is one of the best in the world. Those of you who have been to this country 2 decades ago will not be able to even appreciate, was it there ever? Connectivity, all this. All these go also in favor of environmental preservation. As one of the world's fastest growing economies, India's focus has been on energy security. It is important for all. All nations know about it. India is committed, and this is part of the issue which you discussed, to clean energy and environment. By 2030, half of our electricity will be generated from renewable sources. And let me tell you, friends, there was a time when we used to wait for years and decades to adopt technology of the world. Now, we are in the front of using this technology. And this technology that makes our environment aspect under control. Let me illustrate it by only one example. The National Green Hydrogen Mission, with initial outlay of 19,000 crores, approved by the Cabinet in January 2022, aims to applying this are not in avenue for entrepreneurs, avenue for industrial business, and takes care of the challenges on climate change and environment. India took the lead for International Solar Alliance. We have its headquarters next to the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So several initiatives have been taken. I am sure during your deliberations, you would have thought of many more innovative steps, out-of-the-box solutions to the great challenges we face. Friends, I have no doubt, I talked about the principle of trusteeship. This planet is not ours. We have to hand over this planet to our future generations to the extent we can keep it as such, if not improve. And the decisions we make today will resonate through the ages, shaping the legacy we leave for generations to come. Friends, before coming to this body of experts, because this is not my primary area, but as a citizen, as one of the persons affected, I thought over it. I kept track of your deliberations also. What is happening all over the globe also. And I have no doubt I can share my thought with you. For resolute and impactful resolution of environmental challenges and climate change menace, it is imperative that there is synergetic global stance, as that is the only option. One country cannot find a solution. Be it any other country. There will have to be convergence of all the nations on a war footing to find a solution. I'm sure you would have deliberated over 2 days on this aspect as well. Let us, friends, pledge to work in togetherness at global level, to work for a future where our forests flourish, sustaining life in all its wondrous forms. Let us resolve to using natural resources wisely and optimally. How can we allow an individual to use natural resources on the plank of financial affordability? It is unjustifiable. It is iniquitous. It is unacceptable. Everyone on the planet is required as a trustee to use natural resources optimally, frugally, and I'm sure this will happen. One of the greatest human beings, according to Einstein, people will not believe that he walked on this planet, was father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. His sage advice, I will end by quoting him. What the father of the nation said, I quote, the earth has enough for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed, unquote. See it in the context of sinister, pernicious mechanisms all over the world when they deal with wildlife, when they deal with forest produce. I am sure your deliberations would go a long way in shaping a strategy that will help the planet at large. I am grateful to the organizers for affording me this unique, rare opportunity to reflect on an issue that touches lives of every living being on the planet. Lastly, to our foreign delegates, do please spare time, look around India. I can tell you, you will see that kind of culture, diversity, both in nature and human species, which you may not find elsewhere on the globe. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing those gems of wisdom. I request everyone to kindly stand for the national anthem.